Hello, everyone. It is Kenyon here, Basketball Rewind, and guess what? We're joined by one of the biggest Mavericks fans that I know, beyond the locker room, of course. I do have the championship hat, not on me right now, but I've collected a number of the championship hats, so I do have the Dallas ones. Dallas might be looking at another championship soon, or they may not be. We'll find out. But the story of Luka and his playoff run continues, and that's the first topic of today. So, beyond, I mean, you clearly, do you want to say, is it ironically Dallas in four?
I won't go that far. I got Mavs in five. I want the folks down below to see if they can guess that jersey. Hopefully, you don't do a Google search. If you see if you know your Mavs history in this case here, so that'll give you a clue. But yeah, I like Dallas in five. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how Dallas defends Boston if they play them straight up or they actually switch or they actually trap. I don't think they're going to trap at any time with any of these pick and rolls. I think they're going to switch pretty much everything, and they're going to force them. They're going to force Boston to do something that get Boston into traps, which, in other words, forcing Boston to actually play more one-on-one, which is gets Boston in a lot of trouble. I don't think Boston has a ton of great one-on-one players. I think Brown's probably the best of the one-on-one players, but I think Tatum has shown that to be a weakness of his throughout his career. Where if he's at the right matchup, he's okay with it. But I don't even think him. If you're getting like, for example, if he gets switched on the Luka in a one-on-one, I'm not feeling that worried about it. To be honest with you, I really am not. And I think that's gonna be a fascinating chess match of how Dallas defends them.
Yep.
Offensively, though, is gonna be that's gonna be something. I don't know what you think about this, but like offensively, like Boston have to pick their poison, man. Like, do they let the two guards go crazy, or do they actually, start trapping them heavily like how OKC did, opening up for a ton of threes? I don't know. That's really the debate. Minnesota did it one way and kind of let say, "Hey, we dare you to beat us." And two of them say, "Okay, hold my
Right.
beer." Right. And the other side, OKC took the other tack. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on this, man? That's why I kind of like Dallas in five. I think they provide a lot of uncomfortable matchups for Boston.
I think it's going to be a six-game series. I'm going to take Dallas. Um, I think it's going to Boston's a good team. There's no ways about it. I don't think that they've been battle tested enough, but they're a good enough team that, I mean, if it's five, then I'm shocked, is what I'll say.
Well,
But to your point, I mean, that last, I mean, I did not expect, granted the point differential was so close. I didn't expect Minnesota to lose in the fashion that they did and in the amount of games that they did.
I think I was on a streak of about five straight series I had to write or something like that. And I had Minnesota. Like I said, my heart was always for Dallas, in maybe in six. But if I was just being trying to give you the quote Nick Wright in this case, cogent and unabashed,
Oh, I didn't know you didn't believe in Ant. I thought Ant was your guy.
unadulterated, proper takes in this case here.
Yeah.
I gotta give the people what they want. So I had Minnesota being the home team, obviously a top end defense. I had seven, to be honest with you. Not
Sorry,
so much
you're
that I
cutting
don't
out a
believe
little
in
bit,
Dallas,
but
but if I'm just being honest from a back,
yeah, but you had them in seven for the last series.
yeah, exactly. So I had Minnesota seven, but Dallas's defense is really it's becoming a real force, and I think that's the part that I underestimated a little bit.
Right. I mean, I look at it like this, like just one team's been battle tested. You got to be battle tested to go through this. I'm just keeping it very simple that way. In some ways, obviously Luka's Luka, Kyrie is Kyrie, but also there's a little bit of vengeance that needs to be taken on the standpoint of a Kyrie Irving. I think he's coming to play. This is if there was ever one way that his story would continue at the highest level, this would be it, and it against this specific team.
Well, it's funny because it's also the other side here with Porzingis.
Oh yeah,
Trust me, it wasn't pretty. I had the KP experience. It wasn't pretty, and I know Luke and him couldn't stand each other. So I am curious to see It's gonna be interesting when each guy's in the opposing barn and see how it plays out. Boston fans will be Boston fans. I'll just leave it at that. I'm bringing my manners here today. I'll just say Boston fans will be Boston fans. I expect some hijinks to happen in these two games, but I think I'm comfortable that Dallas will get a split.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I think overall, I I mean, in terms of analysis, it's just that, for example, there's Derek White. Derek White is obviously always a tough cover for anything for any opposing, you know, defense, really. I think on the standpoint of, PJ Washington and their front court rotation, I think that they can definitely give Boston a run for their money. And they also have the ability to play different styles. So I think from a versatility standpoint, Dallas takes it on the offensive end. Defensively, we'll definitely see both teams have their I mean, obviously with Porzingis out, they have one less chess piece on the Boston side, but yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have to do a temperature check with Tyler Rucker before the draft in terms of how things went.
I just quick questions to recap. How do you see the offensive side going?
Um, for Boston, I think that Derek White is going to be the key again. So if you can stop Derek White offensively, that changes things. But I don't know how Dallas is going to do that specifically. We'll see. But again, I in some ways, while they have been kind of cooking throughout the whole season, I don't think that Boston's offense is something that I'm like woefully afraid of. I mean, Indiana took them in each game, specifically close to the end of each game, and Indiana wasn't really playing their best basketball. People say that they were, but then if you break down the numbers, the amount of turnovers that they had and stuff like that, they weren't really playing their best ball in Indiana. And they were also like a major piece short in Matherin, and also later on in Halliburton. Although without Halliburton, their defense went way up. So I mean, yeah, I mean it's hard to kind of go against what Dallas has. I mean, Luka has shown, especially in moments, that he can be a lot more serviceable on defense, and that's really all you need when you can do that on the other end.
I would say the same thing with Kyrie, and I think the other thing too is that sometimes we overthink things a little bit. Usually, in this case, when you have two teams, say they're fairly even. Usually, who's got the best players? Usually, the one's going to win.
Yep,
The NBA history tells you that if you have the best player in the series, in the finals, you are likely going to win the series. Not all the time, but more majority of the time.
certainly
So
gives you a
the
much
best player of the
bigger
series, I don't think
margin
anyone's
for
going to
error.
have exactly. And I think I'm curious to see who guards Kyrie. If it's going to be White or if it's going to be
Drew.
Drew. Which one they're going to put on him first? I think so, huh? Okay.
Yeah. And I
Interesting.
and I would put one of the Jalen's on Luca, which
I
it should
figure as
be
much.
Brown in my opinion, but I mean you never know. You might want to
Yeah,
conserve the
Brown.
better players' offense and let Brown cook.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Oh man, shots fired.
Hey man,
Oh,
the
poor
last the
Tatum.
last series, I don't care what people say. He wasn't the best. Neither. Some people would say it's Tatum. I don't think that Tatum or Brown outplayed, Pascal on the other end. They didn't on the overall series in terms of efficiency, in terms of getting their shot when they want it, how they wanted it. They didn't, and so they have to show that. And I now they're facing two guys that are offensively more gifted than them, in my opinion.
Mm,
Certainly a deeper
right,
bag,
and
and
then
both guys can dribble.
right, right, exactly. No, that's good. It's gonna be fascinating. I think the psychology of the Boston fans will be part of this discussion as well too. But before the series is done, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't really, obviously, my Mavericks are in the finals, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I think from a matchup standpoint, probably the most intriguing matchup I've seen in a while, probably, but since Raptors Warriors in my mind. Like if I had to look at all the matchups I had, this one's the most exciting one I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that because I think we've had some darn good series.
No, I'm
Uh,
just saying. I think as it started, right? So we didn't
mm,
know how Thunder were going to be, right? I like, for example, Phoenix Milwaukee ended up being a very good series, but when it started, I was not sure if I was as giddy to watch that versus what is about to come now. Boston Golden State, pretty close, pretty close. That one was fascinating. I would say that was pretty up there. Um, and then the other one was like Denver Miami. Really? Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, but as finals matches go, yeah, I certainly agree with you. So yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not much more that I have to add. So, with that being said, it's a shorter episode. We're going in this week into just pure draft talk after. So yeah. Anyways, everyone, take care, peace, and keep enjoying the content. Keep liking, commenting, and subscribing. All right, take care and peace.